Hello and welcome to Ticket to Life. And I am Henrie, and I hope that today will be better than yesterday. And if today was fantastic, I hope that your tomorrow will be even more fabulous. And if you're having a not so good day, guess what? Tomorrow's a new day. So, how many of you are first timers to be with me? I welcome you to Ticket to Life. And Ticket to Life is about anything and everything in life, the sorrow, the sadness, the happiness, the fantastic. But anyway, today we're going to talk about gossip. Let's give them something to talk about. How many of you know that song? It's a great song. It is by Bonnie Raitt, but it's actually not about gossip, but kind of trying to get the story started up. But anyway, first of all, let's talk a little bit about what's going on. I hope you had a wonderful Easter. Let's see, this podcast should be, this podcast should be right before Easter. So happy before Easter to you. I am using another mic than what I usually use. I'm testing mics out. This is the HyperX. I usually use the Shure, which is... Sure, I can't tell you enough because I can hear the difference. This HyperX microphone is a little bit more sensitive. It picks up a whole lot of sound, but we're going to check it out for a couple of episodes and then we'll see what I decide to do with that. I'm sure I'll be going back to the Shure. But anyway, all my podcasts are pre-recorded, so you should be hearing this one on the 17th. But right before Easter, and if you celebrate Easter, wonderful. It is a great day to celebrate the resurrection of Christ. And if you don't celebrate it, that's okay too. The other thing is I do need to tell you that my disclaimer of this is that I am not a doctor, a coach, a therapist, a life coach, therapist, or love guru. I am Henrie, and these are my opinions and thoughts. And you may think, wow, these are great. And then you may go, wow, these stink. And you know what? That's okay because everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Unfortunately, when someone gives you their opinion and then you give them your opinion, they don't want to hear it. They just counter, just back and forth. Well, no, that's not how that is. And I know we all know someone like that. But anyway, my question to you again, have you gossiped? Yes, we all have. And that song I'm sure you just loved my singing by Bonnie Raitt. It's a good song. It's about two lovers and given something to talk about because people love gossip. And some people would say, no, I don't. I don't like gossip. I just don't. But man, when they see people, especially, well, I'm not going to say women. Men are just as bad. So just letting you know, guys, you are, that when you see a group talking and then you get close to that group and then all of a sudden they kind of get quiet and you'll say, hey, what's going on? And they'll go, oh, she's okay. She's okay. Go ahead and tell her. Because how many times has this happened to you? It's happened to me. But I thought it would be a good title for this podcast. Talk about gossip. And I again, what is gossip? Most of us will say, I don't gossip. But if you've ever talked about someone unkind or disapproving of someone's private life and sometimes untrue statements, then you have gossiped. Now, it's a little bit different when you're venting because we all need to vent. And if you don't have a therapist, you vent to your best friend or your husband or your spouse, your wife, whoever, your dog. See, when Arthur was around, I used to have a puppy named Arthur. And when he was around, yes, he knew everything because I could trust him. And I got it out of my system. But honestly, how many of us are guilty of this? And yet, we've told others, oh, I don't gossip. Well, if you have heard any of my past podcasts where I've shared real life stories of affairs, love scams, guilt, DNA, you have a match, then I can honestly tell you that I have gossiped. And I put it out there as examples of your life's trials. Not everyone. Not everyone's going to go through a love scam or love or have an affair, but a lot of people have or are dealing with that right now. Although it is, this is a good podcast to talk about because it's really not good to gossip. It really isn't. And I could say, well, why do I make these podcasts? Why are you talking about people? Well, I do change the names to protect the innocent. But it is a life change when you know, wait, I've been suffering and I've been hurt, and I'm not the only one that's felt like this. Yes, folks, everyone goes through something like this, believe it or not, not just in high school. There is always drama somewhere, and people are drawn to drama. Why? I don't know. I am. And if you've ever wondered, is she talking about me on one of her podcasts? Well, if the shoe fits, maybe I am. Now, the real question is, why do we gossip? And for some of us, it actually, now this is horrible, but it actually makes us feel good. It makes us feel good to talk about people. Is that why I do it? No. Um, I may have said something, but I will tell you, if you tell me, do not say anything, I'm not saying anything. You know why? Because I have fish now, and I tell them everything. But anyway, we have a tendency to you find something out and you're dying to tell someone. And then they know that they can always be the friend you can rely on to find the scoop out on what's going on. Again, if you're venting about someone in private because you've had a bad day at work, or you and your spouse have had a horrible, day, and you just need to talk to somebody about it. It's okay to vent, but it's okay when it's something very personal about yourself. I consider that, now this is me, a venting about something very personal in your life. And if you don't have a therapist, of course, there's always God. He's available 24/7. You may not get a response right away, but you will get one, and he will not talk back to you, or maybe he will, and help you feel better about what might be bugging you that you're having to vent so much about. And it is a difference, and I know some people wouldn't see it that way, but in my opinion, it is. It's different to talk horrible about someone and then just to say, oh, I was so upset at work today because Joe Blow got the contract that was promised to me. I would be upset, yes. But again, we all have different lives, and sometimes we have things going on exactly like everyone else. Well, not everyone, but something like a divorce or something like a problem with our kids. So it is good to talk to someone. It really is, and you should always feel like you can talk to someone. At least I hope you do have someone to talk to. But again, the real question is, why do we gossip? For some of us, it makes us feel good about ourselves, and then they wind up telling somebody else, and because of this, everyone is in the same life. That we all have mutual friends, and then it gets back out. Some feel as though it makes them feel included in a certain group and that they are bonding socially with information. And some may do it just for entertainment, just to see who they can upset. And that's sad. It helps us, though. It helps them, not us. It helps them with feeling like part of being a social influencer. I can do this and get away with it, and people will like me, or maintain their popularity with people because they know that's the go-to gossip person to go to. Now, they're not thinking that they could hurt someone else. Some people do. But gossiping for malicious reasons, this is no bueno. Not a good thing. It's mean. Again, let's do the right thing, and let's teach our kids the right thing. There was a video. This has nothing to do with gossip, but there was a video of a family who went to a restaurant near where I work, and their bill was $113. and they didn't pay for it. It was a mom and a dad and their 2 kids. Wrong. What are you teaching your kids? Great parenting. No, don't think so. So teach your kids the right thing. I know some people don't understand. What am I talking about? Teach them to be kind. Teach them to do the right things in life, and good things will come to them. But it's all up to us parents. So anyway, I'll get back on my gossip podcast and not getting upset with that. But I had a friend many, many, many years ago, and she told me that if you shared anything, now this is what she said, if you share anything about someone and you were not making it up, and that that these are considered facts, and that it is the truth. It's not made up stuff, but facts. Now, some of us share too many facts with too many people, and then definitely that isn't good either. Once you share, you are now what I am saying. Now, being careful. Be careful who you share these facts with. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to share something that someone told you was a fact, be careful who you tell. Now, some people know that if they want to get something going, there's that one person they can go to and tell them, and then before you know it, it's quicker than email. Because when they are asked, how did you find out? And they start pointing fingers at you and throw you under the bus. And you say, but these were facts, but I didn't want you to share these facts with anyone. I was trying to just tell you I needed to talk to someone. This is how it is. But when you said, I forgot to tell you, you weren't supposed to share that. How many people have done that? Hello. I know I have. But the other thing, do you like drama? If so, then you will love to be the one telling and knowing everything about everyone. This will more than likely stir something in some, and you just watch from afar to see the chaos that you started. Now, how many of you remember or know of the telephone game? It's a really old game that I played, but I think people still play it. And what's where children, and actually I know adults still play it, but where you sit in a circle and someone would whisper in a child's ear some phrase such as, I have a dove for you. And the next one whispers, and the next one whispers the same thing, and it goes all the way around till it's to the very last person. And then the last person is supposed to say out loud what they heard. And it comes out, I have love for you, not a dove. I have love for you, and everyone laughs and usually blushes, and it turns out in the end to be something silly. But it may be a little different than the way it started with gossip, and in hopes that somebody didn't change it purposely, like they do in gossip, to embarrass someone when you're playing the telephone game. Well, that is like gossip it's not good. It's not healthy, first of all, for us to gossip about people. It just isn't. And have you been gossiped about? I have. Someone said I was a backstabber, and I can tell you I am not a backstabber. They just got upset with me for something, and so then they started telling people not to trust me. Don't trust her. Don't trust Henrie. She's a backstabber. Did I lose sleep over? Well, I got a little ticked off. So for Halloween, I went to a party, and I put a knife on my back, one of those rubber knives, and I had a sign that said, I'm a backstabber. No, I didn't do that, but I did think about it. But anyway, there's just people that want to make you look bad. I don't know why, but sometimes maybe when you're too honest, like some people I know, I'm talking about myself, then people get upset. But again, it is so important not to gossip. And sometimes it is just venting, and then we vent to the wrong person, and they can't run fast enough to go and snitch you out. It's hurtful. when someone goes and tells something about you, especially if it's a private vent session, and then someone tells someone and they swear to tell them everything and promise that they won't tell anyone. I'm going to tell you what happened. And they don't even know half the story. They just keep building that story up. And again, that story gets huge and explodes. I know that sounds crazy, but it does. This is how things happen. This is how stories start. Lies. And then someone else tells someone, and so on and so on. And how many of us are guilty of this? Or guilty of both? Starting gossip and then embellishing it. I will be honest that I am taking so many things with me to the grave that people have told me. I don't even know how I haven't shared some of the really dark, deep secrets. Yeah, I'm taking a lot of stuff with me to the grave. But hey, they can trust me on that. So I will admit that I have shared some things in hopes that the person I shared with is taking those secrets to the grave. And you know who I'm talking about if you're listening. So don't forget, that was our promise. We're taking things to the grave. You tell me something, I'll tell you, but we're taking it to the grave. But anyway, just to let you know, in the Bible, Proverbs 20:19, a gossip betrays confidence. So avoid anyone who talks too much. Now that's it. We know that it's bad. It's not good. And that goes for me too. It's not just everyone who's listening. It's bad. Especially when people start, I know this is crazy, they start talking about little kids because they're jealous of, they have a child, their friend has a child, and their child may be cuter than their baby, or their child may be doing something like talking or walking before their child, and people have a tendency of starting gossip about a defenseless baby. Oh, have you seen, I'm making this name up, Fiona's baby? Oh, yeah, not very cute. Hello, that's just mean. And then they just start talking about the baby. Yeah, I think she's still on the bottle. She'll probably be on it till she's a teenager. But this is how bad people are. And you think I'm kidding? No, this is people that are jealous of other people's babies and young children, and it's crazy. I know, but anyway. So, in the Bible, it says that tale-bearing or slander is viewed as a serious sin, characterized by revealing secrets or spreading rumors about others, especially when done with malicious intent or without a valid reason. Again, no bueno, no good. So people, me included, let's stop on the gossip. Although this is kind of funny, I just started taking chia capsules, because those little chia seeds, they get too gummy and gooey for me. But I started reading all the good benefits, because there's all sorts of benefits for the chia seeds, but one of them was, so I'll let you know if this works or not. It says there is no scientific basis or evidence suggests that chia seeds can prevent gossiping. So if you know someone who loves to gossip, to be malicious, start slipping them a Mickey of chia capsules, and maybe they will stop. Of course, it says, let's see here on Google it says it has, gossiping, or have any effect on someone's behavior, including their tendencies. There's no real scientific thing that says that, but hey, who knows? If I have no more podcasts to record, it's probably because the chia seeds are working. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, did you know that the 3 types of gossip, there are 3. There is negative, positive, and neutral. And of course, we all know what negative is. Negative gossip is info shared when the person is in earshot. I think negative is, I did not read that correctly. I am so sorry, and I even typed that up. Negative gossip is info shared when the person is not in earshot. I even wrote that. I didn't even look that up. I wrote that myself. And yes, worse, and toxic for friendships and family relationships. And that I do believe. That negative gossip, it's bad. It's just bad. And we all know that. And in some cultures, it is how girls relate to gain value with others. Crazy, right? Sharing positive or neutral information about others sometimes strengthens and helps with community. Give them the great things you see in this person. Tell them about their positive characteristics, because believe it or not, we all have good positive characteristics. I believe that we all do have positive and good characteristics. I do. I believe that. Do you feel like running to the church and confessing now that we've discussed gossiping? Or should I ask you, have you been gossiped about like me? Yes, you probably have. I mean, I always figured, now I'm getting older. It's like, I'm a good topic. Why not gossip about me? But and feel like you need to seek revenge if someone talks about you. You really need to let that go. Let it go. Let it go. But the important thing is, don't make stuff up, because it could eventually come back your way. And you know what they say, what goes around comes around and bites you in the butt. I added the last part about bite you in the butt, but I have always heard that, and I do believe that it could come back and bite you in the butt, and it's just not good. I mean, what is it that Thumper says on Disney? If you can't say something nice, then don't say anything at all. Recently, a friend told me that a friend of hers told her some family secrets. And I said, are you sure they were secrets? Or they could have been gossip. But she said they were secrets. Who doesn't love family secrets? But sometimes we find other things out. What someone that has already passed away had said about you. And my thing on that is, why share that information when they're already dead and you can't confront them? Who knows? But the world is what it is, and we can't live in the past, and we have to let it go. Of course, there's that Disney song again. Let it go, let it go. Always letting things go in life. But anyway, this is my take on gossip. I hope that some of you probably may get offended by this podcast, because you're like, wait, she just described me. I don't think I like this podcast anymore, and I'm sorry, but we all do have flaws, and if it's gossip, we can tweak it. Get some chia seeds. I've never taken those before. My daughter eats very healthy, and she's told me they're so good for you, and they are very good for you, but I'm not trying to push the product. But anyway, I'm going to have a guest on mental health in a few weeks, and I am looking so forward to this guest, and I'm thinking that it will be a learning curve. I'm really excited and looking forward to having that guest speak. I'm basically handing the mic over to him, and he's going to share his story about mental health and what he has struggled with. And anyway, so I do talk about stress a lot and anxiety, and it is interesting to see. I can trigger when I can feel I'm getting a little anxious, or when my husband's getting a little anxious, or just anyone. You can just, you don't even have to know a person that well. You can tell when you make someone feel a little anxious, and you don't mean to. My daughter was actually in that situation. She said, I told you in Texas, we're just kind of friendly, and now she's in Kansas, and she was talking to a friend in the hall, and someone just standing there and obviously listening to her. And she said, hi. And that person goes, oh, I'm sorry. And my daughter felt horrible. She felt horrible. She's like, and she called me. She goes, Mom, I feel horrible. I just was really just saying hi. I didn't know she was listening. I thought she might be listening, but I thought, well, she can join the conversation. That's why I said hi. And the other lady got real flustered, and my daughter went to tell her, "Oh no, I didn't say hi to you earlier." And literally, that's why I said hi. She felt horrible for making her feel flustered about it, and that's just it. Some people get really anxious around other people, and when you do something like that, and okay, of course, I know we have all eavesdropped, or you can't help but hear a conversation because you're standing right there. And that just really threw her off. She said, and my daughter just said, "Mom, I felt horrible. Should I?" And I said, "No, we're adults. We do that. It's okay." And it is okay. My daughter is nicer than I am. So, back to gossip. Just remember, if you do have kids, that kids are going to pick up on this and they will start doing the same thing. So, if you have something to say about one of the parents, when you pick up in the pickup line. I said pickup line, not wine. It sounds like I said wine. But anyway, be careful what you say, just in case your child hears anything that you might say. If that parent's child is a friend of your child, well, you know what's going to happen. They're going to go tell them, "Oh, my mom said this about your mom, blah, blah, blah." So again, be careful what you say in front of your kids. If anything, just be kind. And if you get frustrated with other parents or other people around you, take a deep breath. It just really does help. It is so important for kids to know that it's not good to talk about other kids. It's just good. And I know you can't prevent it because we don't control all these households, which would be nice to say, let's just be kind to each other. It is so easier said. And I know many of you are so tired of hearing me say, just be kind. Teach your kids to be nice, to not be bullies. But yet they're still around. I guess bullies will always be around. And that's sad for me, but just teach your kids to be kind. Of course, you never know what the bully might be going through at home. And that's that is sad too. But anyway, this is Henrie, and I just want to say thank you. And you probably hear the clock in the background with this microphone. But anyway, thank you for listening. I will see you next week. I will keep you in my prayers. And most importantly, go find your blessings. See you next week.